You mentioned that you're working with scientists from many other disciplines. What about paleontologists? Have you ever tried to figure out if maybe one of the major die-offs that we've had throughout the Cenozoic might be due to a similar problem that we're facing today, or if it's something completely new? And I understand that with die-offs, that there's a lot of factors we can't account for, and that there's a whole bunch of things going on that can attribute to an extinction event. But I was just wondering if there's been anybody looking in that area at all.
Well, that's a fantastic question. I love that question because it would be great to have a paleontologist here, or even archaeologists working on this problem. To get an estimate of how the sheep population fluctuated and changed cultures living close to the sheep. Because what we're finding is that even before pollutants were around, at least the kinds of pollutants we associate with industrial development, these sheep were only marginally surviving. They required long, arduous, and dangerous migrations to lower elevations long before the Industrial Revolution, because granitic soils are always marginal in their ability to support mineral content in their forage. So they have to, and they probably always migrated every 2 to 3 weeks down to mineral licks at lower elevations. And their populations probably reflected marginal mineral reserves in their livers and bone marrow, because the alpine habitats are, for one, very exhaustive of energy reserves, cold temperatures for one, but also difficult terrain, and lots of ambush sites on the part of predators who chase them around. So they were always expending a lot of energy living at high elevations, and they were having to expend a lot of energy migrating to mineral licks to get what they need to support their offspring. So yeah, I think there were times of heavy rainfall. What we found is, based on our projections from test plots we've had up here, minus the effect of nitrates or any other pollutants, rainfall itself timed to saturate the soil when the plants are first greening up at different elevations up to 13,600 feet or so in this mountain range, exhausted the supply of selenium in the soil just because of rainfall. So that these sheep would have been at times in a reduced population, a reduced reproductive state, just because of selenium depletions that would have occurred normally throughout history, going back thousands of years. So what did the sheep eaters do under those conditions? Did they depopulate the herds and move somewhere else? Maybe. Maybe they actually hunted some populations to extinction in heavy rainfall years. We do think and have evidence for the fact that pollutants associated with nitrates and nitrates themselves have pushed that marginal habitat over the edge in places like this in the last 15 to 20 years, maybe even 30 years, because of the kinds of pressures that nitrates put on microbial life in alpine soils. So we may be looking at extinctions in the next few decades due primarily to pollutants affecting that marginal mineral absorption.
And I also understand that when it comes to extinctions, we're still going through the extinctions from the last ice age, according to paleontologists.
Right.
And is there any way at this point to figure out how much of the extinctions are due to human activity, or increasing the levels of extinction events due to human activity at this point in time, or is that completely unrealistic at this point?
Well, that's not my specialty, but I do listen to E.O. Wilson and what he has to say, and he says definitely that that is his field.
Yeah.
And he says that definitely we are causing the largest rate of extinctions in paleontological history right now due to human causes. I tend to believe what he says. He's a pretty smart guy.